Werewolf by Night is being tagged as the first special presentation by Marvel Studios. It's essentially a 55-minute special on Disney Plus that has been directed and scored by Michael Giacchino. In this, we follow a alternate world where monsters and all kinds of magic exists. It's obviously a part of Marvel Cinematic Universe we haven't yet explored, and we see a lot of hunters who are on a hunt to find some monsters. Eventually, whoever wins this contest ends up with something. But it turns out there's something else going on in this entire thing, and that leads us to some monstrous antics. I'm not going to talk too much about the plot because I didn't know much about it going in. Try and go into this as blind as possible, but I can tell you that antics doesn't mean what you think it means. At the end of the day, what you get with Werewolf by Night is a very, very unique thing from Marvel, and it comes under that bracket of people who've been wanting to see unique stuff from Marvel. If this is you, if that's something you really, really wanted, then Werewolf by Night is probably going to be one of the best things you've seen from the MCU to date. This is a very well done, creepy horror special that actually fits really well with everything that you've seen somehow, but it also feels like it's something that's in its own direction, and it helps because of Michael Giacchino's direction. He's really good at this. I think this is the first time he's ever directed anything, and he does a really, really good job. And Gael Garcia Bernal as the titular character is fantastic. It's great seeing Jack eventually, start to take on these things and eventually familiarize himself with everything that's happening. But let's talk about the star performer that a lot of people are anticipating, and that is Man-Thing. I remember reading Man-Thing in the comics and thinking, well, that character is going to happen someday, right? I mean, there's no way they never do this. And then years went by and nothing happened. And then I figured, hey, if Swamp Thing can happen in DC, then Man-Thing can be far away, right? Well, Man-Thing has arrived in the MCU, and he's awesome. It's great seeing Man-Thing in action over here, and it's really a big fan's dream come true. If you're somebody who was really looking forward to seeing Man-Thing finally on the screen, then this is your lucky day. As for the other characters, it's a 55-minute special, so a lot of action and a lot of stuff is happening, so you get very little to go off of in some cases, but you get enough with the main characters such as Elsa Bloodstone in order to understand what is actually going on and eventually sort of latch on to what their characters are trying to achieve. And it's not as simple as I want to win the competition. Like, there's obviously a lot of other stuff in the process that leads up to the things that eventually are the more horrific and more action-heavy things, which let's talk about. As far as action goes, this is one of the goriest things, I think maybe the goriest thing that at least the Disney arm of Marvel has done. If you want to compare it to like the Netflix stuff, then obviously that one still reigns supreme, but I think over here you get something which is, like I said, explicitly gory at times. I mean, the black and white filter really helps, but there are genuine cases where someone's throat is slit and there's a blood splattering all over the place, or someone's head is ripped off, and it's actually really, really gory. But obviously, because it's black and white, it's one of those tricks of the trade. If the color of the blood is not red, it's fine. If it's black and white, it's fine. So technically, this classifies under like TV-14 or whatever, but it's not really TV-14 if you really looked at it from the perspective that it is. But regardless of that, it is really, really well done, and the practical work that has seemingly gone into it is genuinely remarkable. And as with the case of him directing it, like I said, you get a score from Michael Giacchino as well, which is justifiably creepy and is justifiably epic and grandiose, and it works really, really well. I mean, I just realized something. Michael Giacchino has had one of the craziest years I've seen anyone have in a career. We started off with Spider-Man No Way Home. Then he went to scoring The Batman. Then he scored Jurassic World Dominion. Then he scored Lightyear. Then he scored Thor Love and Thunder. And now he's directed and scored this. This man's hustle just does not end. I mean, respect to whatever he's running on. I don't know if he's running on 50 Red Bulls a day or something like that. I don't know what it is, but I mean, respect to that spirit of his work. I mean, there's a reason this man is in the business, and the fact that he's still being able to do all of this and still being able to crank out unique, original stuff, it speaks volumes of his talent. And so I'm really, really happy that we're getting to see more of that talent on display. Like I said, if I had to really boil it down to issues, I would say yeah, okay, they could have had a little more time with some characters, but then you're moving so quickly through this because you don't have that much time in that 55-minute time slot. Still, still, it manages to create something incredibly compelling and wonderfully done that I will go back and watch it again. I want to see more of this from the MCU going forward. I know I say that for every different thing that they do, and then they do something which is the same, and I don't know. But if Phase 4 has been anything, even if it's had its flaws, its attempt to try to be different. It's its attempt to make certain things happen that may not have been considered before. So I like the veering into those territories that it's been taking over the last few movies. I like what they tried with Eternals. I like what they tried with Multiverse of Madness. I like what they tried with Moon Knight. And I like what they did with well, we'll talk more about that later on. And Loki and all of those shows. It's really interesting. Miss Marvel as well. And so I'm very excited to see this new era of the MCU come into fruition a lot more. I'm excited to see what happens with She-Hulk also in the next coming week. Wakanda Forever is coming out soon. You know, it's such an interesting time. But Werewolf by Night is by far one of the best things Phase 4 has put out. It might be like, it's at least a top 3, I would say. And I highly recommend checking it out. It's now on Disney Plus, and I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. Guys, thank you very much for watching. Look forward to more reviews very soon. This is a very packed weekend. I just realized there's a lot of horror stuff. Hellraiser, the new one, is out. I'll be talking about that. The Midnight Club, Mike Flanagan's new show, has also just dropped. Amsterdam is in theaters. There's a lot to discuss. There's going to be a lot more stuff coming over the next few days. Look forward to all of that. As always, if you like this, guys, please do subscribe. Thank you very much, as always, for watching, and I'll see you guys in the movies.